Good morning and welcome to the video for Thursday, July the 30th. This is going to be a follow-up video for our upcoming third graders. On Monday, we were talking about working with perimeter of shapes. Today, we're going to talk about area, and then as we go into next week, we'll be looking at a couple different ideas where we have to figure out how we can change the way the shapes look to do different things with the area and perimeter. So here's an example of something that we can do right away. We can go ahead and connect the dots here to make our squares and then count the squares. And so if we did that, we would end up getting 4 square units. We'll eventually get to the point that we don't have these available. So what you might end up finding out is we would have a number 1 here, and we might have a number 4 here to represent that this is 4 units long and this is 1 unit long. And then you can do multiplication to figure out the area, which is actually the strategy we would want to use for this. But I'm going to do this top right corner real quick. So if we're counting just the shaded boxes, we would have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. When we have a shape like this, we're probably going to end up getting that in the box, and it's easier to just count. But for these last two, I'm going to show you what we might end up doing once we get far enough into doing this that they start taking all the squares away. So if you look, for this one we have 5 rows, and it looks like we have 8 in each row. So I'm going to put a 5 here and an 8 up here, and we can do 5 times 8 to get the answer to the number of squares that are inside this rectangle. And that would give us 40. And then we'll say square units, and I'll just kind of abbreviate. Partially because I can't write very well with this. Can't write very well with a marker either, as those of you that have seen me try to write on my marker board know. All right, so for this one, this is going to be an example of something that we do where we split up a shape. And this represents using our distributive property. So we split up the shape to make 2 different shapes. So I'm going to do this. And so I'm going to have a 3 by 3 rectangle here. And when we start, we might actually have a 6 out here to show that this is 6 units high. This is going to be 7 units across. And then we would have to figure out that if this is 3 units high and this side is 6, then we can count 3 for this. So what we can do now is do 3 times 3, which is 9, 7 times 3, which is 21, and then we can find our answer. Now again, we also have the option of counting every single individual square. Sometimes that works out okay. Sometimes we can make a counting mistake, which I've seen a lot of that, unfortunately, over the years, because you get in a hurry and then you make a mistake. So let's say that this was what they gave us. And then if we wanted to go this direction, what we would end up doing is we would have 3 times 6 for one of them, and then we would have to know that this would be 7 minus 3 equals 4 for this part. So we would end up with 6 times 3, which is 18, and 4 times 3, which is 12, and then you add those together. And that again gives us our 30 squares. So those are some of the ideas that we will be working with, again, much later in the school year. But I wanted to introduce that to you. On Monday, there's going to be a video that kind of talks about how we can change the shape of rectangles or squares and figure out how that's going to affect the area and the perimeter. So let's say I am always going to have an area of 12. What are the different shapes that I can make that give me an area of 12? And then how do those change the perimeter. Or we're going to say our shape is going to have a perimeter of 12, and we want to figure out how large or how small we can make the shape so that it has either the largest or least amount of area inside the shape. So those are some things that we'll look at on Monday. Hope your summer is going well. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.